progress on the border with Romania. But there, because of I think 2 days ago there was a lot of movement. Yesterday movement was slow, but today I think there has been some good progress. But large crowds still remain on, in fact, all the border points, I would say. We are separately expanding evacuation process through the Hungary border. There is a city of Uzhgorod that Foreign Secretary mentioned yesterday. We are using that now as a staging point for that area. It's as far southwest of Ukraine. And Hungary also, we've had good movement of people. I'm happy to announce that we have also been able to open a new route through Moldova. An MEA team reached Moldova today morning, as Foreign Secretary mentioned yesterday. That team is now in place and is operational. They will assist in the evacuation of Indians through Romania. Moldova it's landlocked. And so these people will come into Moldova, then go from Moldova into Romania and then to Bucharest, and then fly out from there. So this new route should help Indians in southern Ukraine, around Odessa and those places. I'll come to that. And those near Ukraine-Moldova borders. I am aware that some people were waiting on the Moldova side. Some people had crossed into Moldova but couldn't enter Romania. So we are now looking at how we can move them from Ukraine into Moldova into Romania. So it's in process, but some people are already in Moldova, and we are trying to see how they can be helped into Romania and into Bucharest. You would recall EM spoke with his Moldovan and Hungarian counterparts yesterday and sought their support in facilitating evacuation of Indian citizens. Today, I think he's just spoken to the Polish foreign minister. And let's see, as clearly at various levels, we are engaged with all the countries there with the primary focus on this. Moving on to, this is on the western part. So moving on to the other parts of Ukraine, we are encouraging Indians to move to Western Ukraine, as you've seen the advisories. Our understanding is that some students in some of these cities in Eastern Ukraine are boarding trains which taking them to the west. You would have seen some social media reports. I think Honorable Minister R.R. Singh also mentioned something. Some of it is confirmed, some of it is happening as we speak. But let me make a request here and emphasize something to you all and to our students and their families who are listening to this. We want to emphasize that people should not reach the border directly. If they do, they will face long waiting times to cross, as you've seen in Poland border, as you've seen on the Romanian border. So yes, please do reach the western parts of the country, the western parts of Ukraine, but please seek shelter in nearby towns. Let me repeat again. I will come back to it. Maybe as I finish. Or if you want, देखिए हमारी आग्रह रहेगी सारे जो स्टूडेंट्स हैं, इंडियंस हैं, कि आपको एडवाइजरी दी गई कि आप वेस्टर्न यूक्रेन में जाएं, पर मैं ये कहना चाहता हूं, आपसे अनुरोध करना चाहता हूं कि आप जब जाएंगे आप वहां पे डायरेक्टली बॉर्डर में ना जाएं. आप अगर बॉर्डर में जाएंगे तो वहां बहुत बड़ी भीड़ है, आपको बहुत समय लगेगा. आपने पोलैंड में भी देखा था, आप अभी रोमानिया में देख रहे हैं, बॉर्डर क्रॉसिंग में बहुत समय लगता है, ठंड में रुकना पड़ेगा. हम अनुरोध यही करेंगे कि आप कोई नियर बाय शहर में जाइए, आसपास के वहां गांव तो नहीं, शहर में कहीं अगर आपको वहां रहे, बंदोबस्त हो रही है, कुछ हमारी टीम वहां कोऑर्डिनेट कर रही है, पर आपके यूनिवर्सिटी वगैरह भी कर रहे होंगे, वहां रुके, हमारी टीम आपको हेल्प करेगी. बिल्कुल पैनिक न कीजिए, एनफ फ्लाइट्स हैं, हम आपको भी बताते हैं इसके बारे में. So they should seek shelter in towns near the border areas, as I just said, and move to the border only in consultation with our teams, in accordance with the advisories that are being issued and will continue to be issued. Moving to the two cities in the east, well, actually not east, Kyiv and regarding the cities of Kyiv and Kharkiv, we are closely monitoring developments there, the situation. The weekend curfew was lifted today in Kyiv and in the morning. It is a weekend curfew, and at 8 o'clock today, that curfew was lifted. Currently, there is no curfew in Kyiv, at least in those areas. We hear that in Kharkiv also it has been lifted. But again, Kharkiv we have less understanding because in Kyiv we have better information. Our embassy has issued two advisories today. basically requesting students, asking students, subject to safety of course, to make their way to the railway station in Kiev for onward journey to the western areas. अब जैसे कह रहे थे हिंदी में, हमारी दूतावास ने एक एडवाइजरीज जारी की हैं कि जो है कीव शहर में स्टूडेंट्स, अभी वहां पे कर्फ्यू नहीं है, आप निकल के जितना दूर हो सकता है आप रिस्क ना लेके कीव स्टेशन पे जाइए, वहां से ट्रेन चल रही हैं, आई थिंक कुछ फ्री बिना शुल्क के वहां पे ट्रेन चल रही हैं, भीड़ होगी हमारे, अभी देखा मैंने एडवाइजरीज को फॉलो कीजिए. So they will go to the railway station for onward journey to the western parts. Ukraine Airlines is arranging special trains for evacuations. And our latest understanding is that many students are now leaving Kyiv. Many Indian students are now leaving Kyiv. We will share with you more updates as we have them. Our embassy is actually live on this issue. So that's basically where we stand as per information. Coming on to what are we coordinating? As you are aware, a dedicated Twitter handle, Op Ganga helpline, with the hashtag handle at Op Ganga, Operation Ganga helpline, has been set up to assist in the evacuation process. This handle is working in coordination with dedicated control centers that have been set up for each border crossing. And we have also shared with you the new numbers of the control centers. Late last evening, we shared with you. Those numbers are, as Foreign Secretary was saying, originally we had given you direct numbers of some of the officials. They are impossible to take that many calls. We are hoping that the control center will be able to take the greater load. We will continue to expand this. And of course, there is a control room in the Ministry of External Affairs actually operating from this very building, which is operating on 24/7 basis. Just to share with you a number, it has handled more than 8,000 calls and processed more than 6,000 emails since it was set up, I think, a few days ago. Yes. The MEA control room has handled more than 8,000 calls and processed more than 6,000 emails since the control room was set up. This is apart from, of course, the calls and the messages that our embassies and our control centers abroad are receiving. This is just the Ministry of External Affairs control room here. Let me move on to the flights as I started off. Foreign Secretary indicated to you a tentative flight schedule yesterday. You saw that. We are adding to that based on demand. Demand means whenever students are there. At this moment, just to share information, over the next 24 hours, 3 more flights are scheduled. Okay, 2 of these flights will be from Bucharest. Okay, so out of the 3, 2 from Bucharest, 1 to Delhi, 1 to Mumbai. So Bucharest, Delhi, and Bucharest, Mumbai, and 1 from Budapest to Delhi. So that's the next 24 hours. I don't want to give you more because we will keep on changing this. Let me emphasize another thing again to everyone, particularly to the students and other family members. Flights are not the constraint. We will add more flights as needed. We have seen some messages saying, oh, flights are going away, we will not be able to take the flights, panic is setting in. Please do not get worried. Once you cross the Ukrainian borders, we will make sure there are enough flights to bring you back, whether it takes a day or 2 more. So I wanted to emphasize this to people who are seeing. The main focus is to ensure that Indians are able to cross over from Ukraine into the neighboring countries that I mentioned. Just to emphasize also that we are continually augmenting the presence of the MEA teams for necessary arrangements at the border points in Slovak Republic, Romania, Poland, and Hungary, and now today Moldova. Contact details of these teams and these control centers have been shared. We are increasing the size of the teams. We are also augmenting the strength of our embassies in these 4 countries bordering Ukraine. We are every day we are authorizing more officials and from nearby countries as well from Delhi to go and help our colleagues in these embassies. I think that's broadly a briefing on what information I have. I would just like to end my initial remarks by saying I don't think a student should panic. They should try to go to the western parts of Ukraine, wait there, contact our teams, contact our control rooms, share their location information so that we can get them registered in terms of when can they be brought out, because the borders are very crowded and you cannot just land up and expect to wait. They will wait 2 days or 1 day in the cold. And we are hoping that we are able to expand this process. Things have improved a bit significantly in, I would say, in some of the border checkpoints, particularly the Budapest one. And we hope to augment that process in the next few days. Okay, I'll stop here and I will open the floor for if there are any questions. Will you please introduce yourselves and the organizations for our record? I saw you first, so I'll start with that. Then I'll come to you. Sure. आपने कहा था आई वेलकम टू हाँ सेम क्वेश्चन अच्छा you want me to repeat that? I started in the beginning. I will repeat that. Okay, I'll come back to that. Okay, who was some? No, I saw your hand first. I'll come back to.
Hi, I'm Yeshi from New Indian Express. I would like to know that these 12,000 Indians who are still stranded in Ukraine, where's the maximum cluster? Which part of Ukraine are they? And secondly, is there a cap on the price that they're paying the airfare? Because there are reports saying that some of them are paying exorbitant airfares to come back to India. So these are two questions that I have. Thanks.
Thank you. Okay, ma'am. Oh, sorry, you had, but lady, let me.
So Meghna from DD News. So when are we arranging flights from Poland, from Warsaw? And yesterday we had in the briefing that there's a team of first secretary level trying to see what can happen at the Moscow border. So what is the status on that?
Okay, just 1 second, and I'll take one more from you. I'll come to you.
सर मधुरन न्यूज़ नेशन से मेरा सवाल है कि जो 4 बॉर्डर पॉइंट्स हैं अब तो फिफ्थ भी जुड़ जाएगा जैसा कि आपने बताया वहाँ पर जो स्टूडेंट्स का लोड है वो क्या एज्यूम आप लोग कर रहे हैं कि कितने हजार छात्र जो हैं हर बॉर्डर पे इस वक्त मौजूद हैं और क्या प्लान किया गया है कि कितना वक्त लगेगा इन सबको एटलीस्ट जो है बॉर्डर क्रॉस करने में और इवैक्यूएट करने में तो ये पूरा प्लान जो आपका है उसका टाइमलाइन में जाना चाहिए
Okay. Let me take this. You want? Okay. Srinja has been. Srinja. I'll just take one more question. I'll come back next round.
So, yesterday there was talk of people, Indian diplomats going in from the east towards Kharkov and other areas to pull in at least the 2,000 students who are in Kharkov and adjoining areas. Now, how far has India gone on that?
Okay, let me take this round of questions. I'll come back. I see some more hands still up there. Let me start with Manish ji, आपका जो सवाल था, and you asked for the confirmation. देखिए, let me first read out कौन से मंत्री जी कहाँ जा रहे हैं. मैंने शुरू में कहा था, Minister Jyotiraditya Scindia will be going to Romania and Moldova. Minister Kiren Rijiju will be going to the Slovak Republic. Minister Hardeep Puri will be going to Hungary. And Minister Jan V.K. Singh will be going to Poland. That's the information I have. It changes a bit. Then don't hold me to it. No, they have not left. They are here, but they will go as soon as possible. They will go on. They'll go very shortly. This was direction from the Honorable Prime Minister, and I think early morning today, and it will happen soon. आप पूछ रहे थे कि वो क्या उनका रोल रहेगा, करेंगे क्या. मैंने जैसे पहले ही कहा, उनका मेन रोल होगा कोऑर्डिनेशन और ओवरसी कि किस तरह से चल रहा है वहां पे. अब हमारे ये 4 जो देश हैं, 5वां मोल्डोवा भी है, पर देखिए मोल्डोवा आधा आधा है क्योंकि मोल्डोवा में आने के बाद फिर आपको रोमानिया में ही आना पड़ेगा. तो इनका काम उस है कि वहीं पे अब फोकस है कि कैसे हम लोग लाते हैं बॉर्डर के अक्रॉस और फिर उनको फ्लाइट से भेजे जाते हैं. सीनियर मंत्री जी वहां रहेंगे. इससे 2 तरह के तो फायदे होंगे. एक कोऑर्डिनेशन इजी रहेगा, प्लस लोकल गवर्नमेंट से भी हमारे उनके कॉन्टैक्ट तो जरूर बनेंगे. उसी वो जा रहे हैं इतनी दूर. और बाकी क्या करेंगे, देखिए सीनियर मंत्री हैं, वो अपने से डिसाइड करेंगे. आपको बताएंगे हम लोग क्या कैसे बनता है आगे क्या स्टेप्स है. Yeshi, you talked about 12,000 which are left and the airfare. Look, let me clarify this. I think did that. Under the evacuation operation Ganga, no one is paying any airfare at all. This is all being borne by the government of India. So if there are stories, if there are reports that students are paying exorbitant, these stories are wrong, or they're talking about before the evacuation started when people were coming on commercial flights. Perhaps that could have been the reason. But certainly, no, we had 6 flights. You can ask any student who has come on any of the flights. No one has had to pay a single rupee for that evacuation flight. And this is obviously part of that. We understand that the airspace is closed and there are no options, and that's why once an evacuation starts under organized thing like Operation Ganga, there it is done at the government of India's cost. The number 12,000 is a good estimate because we started around 20,000, 19,000 something. The estimate is 8,000, and maybe that's a good number. But again, these are estimates. Who knows where exactly is? In fact, that's actually our problem. Going to your question, no, I think मधुरेंद्र जी पूछ रहे थे ना अभी इस क्वेश्चन के बारे में कि वो कितने स्टूडेंट लोड हैं, पर कहना मुश्किल है, ये सारा अनुमान है। 12,000 है, 12,000 बॉर्डर पे तो नहीं है, 1,000 हो सकता है, किसी बॉर्डर पे हो, किसी में 2 हो। पहले उस दिन सुन रहे थे कि पोलैंड बॉर्डर में कोई 2-3 हजार लोग हैं। कहना मुश्किल है क्योंकि वो भी अभी मूव करते रहते हैं, पर जैसे मैंने कहा हमारा फोकस ये है कि वो कहीं रहे शेल्टर में और धीरे धीरे स्मॉल ग्रुप्स में लाएं। एक फ्लाइट में 200-250 लोग आते हैं, फिर ऐसे करके निकाल लें। आपने 4 पॉइंट्स की बात की थी, 5वां तो मोल्डोवा है, पर मोल्डोवा भी फिर बुकारेस्ट में जाएगा, तो एंट्री पॉइंट 5 हो गए हैं, पर घूम के फ्लाइट पॉइंट्स 4 ही रहे। कितना समय लगेगा अभी कहना मुश्किल है। हमने पहले सोचा था कि बॉर्डर से आसानी से निकल पाएंगे, पर इतने सारे लोग हैं तो पर जितना भी टाइम लगे हम हर नागरिक को लाएंगे वापस जो आना चाहता है यहाँ वापस। Meghna, you asked about Poland, Warsaw flights. Look, Poland and Warsaw is not the same thing in the sense that Warsaw is the capital. If need be, we will look at other options. Okay, somewhere in Poland, but yes, Warsaw is a little far away. But if we can get them to Warsaw, otherwise, even a nearby airport. Similarly, from Slovakia, the Slovakia airport is not that large. Could be Vienna, it could be Budapest. These decisions will be taken. You had also asked on the Moldova border. No, sorry, Moscow. Both Srinjoy and you mentioned this one. Look, let me answer Srinjoy's one so you'll get a. I don't think there was any indication that our teams will go into Kharkiv. No, I think the Moscow, the Embassy of India sent a team, as I remember correctly, Foreign Secretary mentioning yesterday, which went to the border areas within Russia to see the possibility of evacuation routes as and when the situation permits. There's a live and active conflict zone. It is not the same as it is in the Western Ukraine. So there is, it is not feasible immediately to look at, just going inside there. But yes, distance-wise is much closer. And as and when, or if and when a situation arises that we are able to pull them out from that side, we're exploring possibilities and keeping plans ready. That should answer your other question. What's happening on the Moscow border? Nothing. It's a conflict zone, and obviously our people cannot go. Nobody can go. In fact, one of the reasons our students are still stuck in Kharkiv, particularly in Kharkiv, because as I say, Kyiv, there is better news of movement today with the trains. I also heard Kharkiv there are trains just as I walked in, but I don't know if that's true. If you've heard anything, I hope that is the easiest way of coming out to the west. At the end of it, all the routes are to the west and not to the east. So maybe that would be the easiest. Okay, let me take the next round of question. I saw a lot of hands. One more.
So my question is regarding any humanitarian aid and plan to be given to Ukraine. Today there was a briefing by the Ukrainian envoy as well, and he mentioned that he requested the Indian Foreign Secretary yesterday during his meeting of such kind of requests.
Okay. Yeah, please. Color. Okay.
I was told by the ambassador that the Indian Foreign Secretary has promised that this request will be processed very quickly. Can you please confirm that?
Okay. Processing or the answer of it?
No, the processing the answer.
We can quickly process it. Want to answer?
The
Okay.
request for the
Okay. Please. No. Who didn't take first? Yeah. Okay. Please, ma'am. Yeah, I saw your hand first. Then I come both.
सर मैं कविता हूँ हरिभूमि न्यूज़पेपर से। सर मैं 2 चीज़ें आपसे पूछना चाहती हूँ कि एक बार जैसे अफगानिस्तान से हमने रेस्क्यू ऑपरेशन किया था, ऑपरेशन देवी शक्ति, उसमें हमने मिलिट्री एयरक्राफ्ट का ज़्यादा यूज़ किया था इंडियन एयरफोर्स के। तो यहाँ पर इस ऑपरेशन में मिलिट्री एयरक्राफ्ट्स को हमने क्यों नहीं यूज़ किया, और अगर ज़रूरत पड़ती है तो क्या हम इंडियन एयरफोर्स की मदद लेंगे, उनकी फ्लाइट्स का यूज़ करेंगे? और दूसरा, ये जो अभी आपने जो बताया कि यूक्रेन से लगी हुई जितने भी हमारे बॉर्डर कंट्रीज है जहाँ से हम अपने लोगों को ला रहे हैं, वहाँ पर सबसे ज़्यादा मुश्किल हमें कहाँ पे आ रही है, सबसे ज़्यादा लोग कहाँ पर इकट्ठा हो रहे हैं, कहाँ दिक्कत है हमें?
Okay. Suman? तो आप लोग नेक्स्ट
हम लोग सेटल करेंगे।
अच्छा
Sir,
Akhilesh.
I'm Akhilesh Suman from Sunset TV. There is a huge crowd on the borders, as you told. So are we making special facility for Indians to go inside these countries, neighboring countries, or are we getting any type of supporting immigration also from the Ukrainian side?
Okay. And I'll take the last one. I'll come back to you. Sorry, I saw him first.
सर मेरा नाम संजीत त्रिवेदी न्यूज़ 24 से। आपने सारी बातें जो अभी तक बताई हैं वो उनकी हैं जो बॉर्डर्स पर पहुंच गए हैं या पहुंचने वाले हैं, लेकिन हमारे बहुत से छात्र अभी भी कॉन्फ्लिक्ट जोन में हैं और उनके शिकायत भरे वीडियोस आई एम श्योर आप तक भी पहुंचे होंगे। तो उनके लिए क्या कर रहे हैं, क्योंकि उनके माता पिता यहाँ परेशान हैं, वो खुद वहाँ परेशान हैं और कॉन्फ्लिक्ट जोन में उनके लिए निकल करके ट्रेन पकड़ना या कहीं भी जाना मुश्किल है। तो क्या एम्बेसी की तरफ से उनके लिए कुछ हो रहा है? और एक इसी से जुड़ा हुआ प्रश्न है
Okay.
कि आपने एयर बबल खत्म किया 18 तारीख को, 15 तारीख को आपने पहला एडवाइजरी जारी किया।
Anyway, आप पूछिए।
आप एयर बबल पहले खत्म नहीं किए, उसके पहले एडवाइजरी जारी कर दिया कि आप चले आइए, तो भीड़ कैसे?
अच्छा, बिल्कुल मैं समझ गया आपको। Okay, let me take this question, and I think there are still more questions. I'll try to take a few more. I have to leave. Okay, Siddhant and Kallol, I think both of you asked on the humanitarian. Yes, I can confirm that at the request of the ambassador of Ukraine, we will be sending humanitarian assistance to the people of Ukraine, to the government, to Ukraine, including medicines, which they have requested. I don't have any additional details at this moment. As he said, it's just been requested and been processed. We will share more as we go ahead. कविता जी, आपने पूछा था मिलिट्री एयरक्राफ्ट। देखिए, अफगानिस्तान में यूज हुआ था। देखिए, फॉरेन सेक्रेटरी ने आपका कल या पिछले बार जो कहा, बिल्कुल हमारे एयरफोर्स हमेशा इसमें इन्वॉल्व रहते हैं। ये तो होल ऑफ गवर्नमेंट अप्रोच है, वो तैयार है। और मैं कह नहीं सकता हूं कि कब यूज करेंगे या नहीं करेंगे, पर जरूरत पड़े हम बिल्कुल मिलिट्री एयरक्राफ्ट, इंडियन एयरफोर्स का सहायता हमेशा हो रहा है और लेंगे भी। अफगानिस्तान में बगल में है तो कुछ डिफरेंट है। अब यूरोप में और ये उस शहर में नहीं है और किसी शहर में, पर एयरफोर्स रेडी है और जरूरत पड़े तो हम उनको यूज करेंगे। अभी तो हमारा, जैसे मैं आपको कह रहा था, प्रॉब्लम एयरक्राफ्ट की नहीं है। अभी है कि लोग निकल लें, ताकि एयरक्राफ्ट हम हर रोज दो भेज सकते हैं, क्या दिक्कत है। पर वही है कि अभी फोकस है कि वो बॉर्डर क्रॉस कर ले। पर आप ठीक कह रहे हैं, हो सकता है कि ऐसा समय आए कि हमें और एयरक्राफ्ट बढ़ाने पड़े, या कोई ऐसा रनवे या कुछ हो जहां पे एयरक्राफ्ट। पर अभी मैं उसमें कंफर्म नहीं कर सकता, क्योंकि हमारा जो प्लान है उसमें अगले 24 घंटे का, उसमें तो मैंने सिर्फ कमर्शियल एयरक्राफ्ट की बात की है। और कहां पे मुश्किलें आ रही हैं, देखिए ये कहना मुश्किल है। जहां पे भी बहुत से तादाद में लोग आ जाते हैं, सिर्फ हमारे स्टूडेंट्स नहीं, ये मैं कह रहा हूँ यूक्रेन, हमारे तो सिर्फ 1000-2000 लोग हैं। यूक्रेनियन 2 लाख के ऊपर पर पहुंच गए थे पोलैंड बॉर्डर में, वहां नहीं जा पाए तो अब फिर रोमानिया बॉर्डर में आ गए। हो सकता है कल ये सब सुन के वो हंगरी बॉर्डर में लोग पहुंच जाए, जहां पे उसी पर somebody asked me about support, etc. Akhilesh, you were asking. Look, we have received a lot of support from all the neighboring countries. The problem is not on that aspect. It's only the immigration points on the exit from Ukraine where the problem is. I think our neighboring countries have been very helpful, and our Prime Minister, External Affairs Minister, Foreign Secretary, other people all been talking. And we have received, they have been allowed visa-free entry. They've been, moving. They've given support in terms of organizing shelters. So I think that part is going well, and I think with our ministers and special envoys going there, it will become even better. I think that will help. आप संजीव त्रिवेदी जी, आप पूछ रहे थे कॉन्फ्लिक्ट जोन्स में और एयर बबल, दो सवाल आपके थे ना। देखिए, कॉन्फ्लिक्ट जोन का यही दिक्कत रहता है। आपने अच्छा किया, आपने कहा कि कॉन्फ्लिक्ट जोन है। सच में ये कॉन्फ्लिक्ट जोन है। उसका ये मतलब होता है कि उसके आपको हानि पहुंच सकती है, आपको मतलब आप मर भी जा सकते हैं। आप देख रहे हैं ये वॉर है, तो उसमें फिर डिसीजन लेना पड़ता है। वो इंडिविजुअली ले पाएगा कि हम बाहर आए, रुके रहें, बंकर्स में रहें। अब हम तो चाहते हैं कि जल्दी से जल्दी निकल आए, पर हम ऐसा भी नहीं चाहते कि निकलने के रास्ते में उनको और क्षति पहुंचे या फिर उनको ऐसे खतरे के सिचुएशन में पहुंच जाए वो। अब ये डिसीजन मैं जनरल कह नहीं सकता हूं। वहां पे हमारी एम्बेसी, वहां के यूनिवर्सिटी के लोग, उस शहर के क्या कर्फ्यू है, कहां पे लड़ाई हो रही है, हर जगह। देखिए, यूक्रेन बड़ा देश है, ऐसा नहीं बहुत छोटा है। देखिए, कुछ जैसे कीव में लड़ाई हो रही थी, कीव में, पर आज कह रहे हैं कि कर्फ्यू बंद होने के बाद ट्रेन चल रही है तो निकल आएंगे लोग। खरकीव में अगर ट्रेन चल रही है, लोग निकल आएंगे। पर हाँ, इतनी दूर है कि पैदल आने की बात नहीं है। तो जब तक सिचुएशन नॉर्मलाइज ना हो, हमें देखना पड़ेगा किस तरह से उनको बेस्ट तरह से सेफ रखा जाए। और जैसी अपॉर्चुनिटी हो, आश्वासन ये देना चाहता हूं कि हम बिल्कुल हमारे मतलब फोकस है उस पर, हमारा नजर लगा हुआ है कि ऐसे लोग हैं वहां पे, और हम कंटिन्यू करेंगे हमारी पूरी एफर्ट्स कि वो जल्दी से जल्दी निकल आए इस जगह से। आपने एयर बबल के बारे में बात की, देखिए एक आई थिंक इसमें कुछ कंफ्यूजन है। यूक्रेन से बहुत सारे फ्लाइट्स हैं, आप एयर बबल की बात करें जो बायलैटरल डायरेक्ट वाली है, यूक्रेन से बहुत लोग आए हैं जो तीसरे मुल्क से भी आए हैं, कतर से हो या किसी और से। हमने एडवाइजरी जारी की थी कि ग्रेडेड, कि पहले लगा कितना सीरियस नहीं, फिर जब सीरियस होने का निकल जाइए, काफी लोग निकल भी गए। तो इसमें साथ एयर बबल और एडवाइजरी का लिंक हमने, जैसे लगा कि बहुत और चाहिए डायरेक्टली आना, तो हमने फिर बात की और एयर बबल के जो लिमिट थे वो भी हटा दिए। अब ये दिक्कत रहती है, कोविड के चक्कर में ये लिमिट्स लगाई गई थी, अब कोविड कम हो गया, ये हटाई गई हैं लिमिट्स, अब तो और भी बढ़ गए हैं फ्लाइट्स, और हम जारी रखेंगे इसका। ओके, लास्ट राउंड क्वेश्चंस। ओके, आपका रहा था माइक्रोफोन।
सर, नीरज न्यूज 18 इंडिया से। बहुत सारे छात्रों के ऐसे वीडियो देखे जा रहे हैं जिसमें उनकी शिकायत है कि भारतीय दूतावास में कोई कॉल अटेंड नहीं कर रहा है, कोई अधिकारी कॉल अटेंड नहीं कर रहा है। तो एक तो है कि वो फंसे हुए हैं, जब स्थिति ठीक होगी खुद से बाहर निकल पाएंगे कि नहीं वो तय करेंगे, लेकिन कॉल्स क्यों नहीं अटेंड हो रहे, इससे उनका पैनिक जो है वो बढ़ रहा है।
एनीबडी एल्स? यस प्लीज। नहीं, आपका सेकंड, रुकिए बेचारे।
Sir, I'm Arinangsho. I represent the New Indian.
Sorry, get your name.
Arinangsho, the New Indian.
Okay.
Sir, you mentioned about the civilian airlines and the military crafts. So we just experienced the evacuation from Afghanistan in August. What are the other challenges, where the new challenges we're facing right now for the evacuees? Thank you.
Anybody else before I close? Okay. Follow-ups. Yeah, we have little tight on time. Very quick, then very quick ones. If it's just a follow-up question. Somebody else who has not asked a question, then I'll take that floor.
Well, the situation in Kharkiv is very serious, right? Even during the peace talks, there are shelling going on. So, is there a way that do you have any record of how many Indian students are there? Because the embassy is saying that the largest number of Indian students are in Kharkiv. So, I mean, how are you in touch with them? What is your, because it's really an emergency situation, right?
And but quick. If there's something interesting, something new, I'm willing to answer.
मेरा सवाल भी खारकीव से जुड़ा हुआ है कि वहाँ के जो हालात हैं उसको कैसे आप रीड कर रहे हैं, कितने बच्चे वहाँ फंसे हुए हैं, क्या रूस के बॉर्डर